Hi everyone, my name is Kent Gerald E. Argelius. I'm 20 years old, I live at Harleyting, and I'm in B.S. Marie 3 Shirley. Today, I will answer the midterm quiz in our philosophy subject. Here's the question. Regarding moral matters, relativism and absolutism are well-known adversaries. Is morality absolute or relative? Give a compelling argument and understandable explanation of your response to this question. So, first, let us know what is relativism and absolutism. In relativism, it is said that what is right for you may not be right for me, and what is right for me may not be right for you. But you have no right to tell me that I am wrong. This is because it is based on one's opinion. For example, I might say I am smart even though I am not, but no one has the right to tell me that I am wrong because it is based on my perception. On the other hand, the absolutism. It is said that right is right even if no one is doing it. Wrong is wrong even if everyone is doing it. So this means that one's action is morally correct and good or incorrect and bad regardless of whether anyone actually performs it or believes it to be right. For example, also, I might say I am smart even though I am not. Now, it's a violation of the moral principle of honesty. The truth matters regardless of personal feelings or intentions. Okay, now, for the question, is morality absolute or relative? So for me, morality is absolute. Why? Because we should have a moral standard as a reliable foundation to discern right from wrong. Okay, let's take an example. Forgiveness. It might argue that forgiveness is entirely dependent on the situation and the individuals involved. So they might say that forgiveness is appropriate in some cases, but not in others, and that there is no objective standard for determining when forgiveness is warranted. So, for example, they might argue that forgiving a minor offense is reasonable, but forgiving a terrible crime like murder is not. They might also argue that forgiveness depends on the offender's remorse and willingness to make amends. So, if the offender is unrepentant, then forgiveness is not required. However, I would argue that there is an absolute moral dimension to forgiveness. Since it's about realizing that holding on to anger, bad feelings, and hate will eventually hurt yourself and everyone around you. Instead, it's not about saying what they did was okay. They still have to deal with the results or consequences of what they did. Instead, it's about making a room to heal and get better. It's about acknowledging the pain, dealing with your feelings, and deciding to move on instead of letting the past control you. This healing process is key to living a happy and fulfilling life. This perspective is supported by the teaching of Jesus, who emphasized the importance of forgiveness even in the face of great personal suffering. So in Luke chapter 23 verse 34, as he was being crucified, Jesus said, "Father, forgive them for they do not know what they are doing." So this verse shows how incredibly powerful forgiveness is. Even when someone is causing you great pain and treating you unfairly. So it tells us that forgiveness isn't just something you do if you feel like it or if it's convenient. So it's a basic moral command that comes from love and caring for others. So forgiving others like Jesus taught us shows that it's something we should always try to do. It's not about saying what they did was okay, but about freeing ourselves from anger and hate. Forgiveness helps us heal and shows that we are committed to love and kindness, no matter what. Another example is discrimination. So, if morality is relativism based on one's perception, then if someone says to you that you are a worthless person because you are poor, or that you are a decent person because you are rich, it implies that their judgment is right for them, based on their values or societal biases. However, in absolute terms, that statement is wrong. Poverty does not diminish a person's worth, and wealth does not automatically make someone decent. So every individual possesses inherent dignity and deserves respect regardless of their economic status. Also, as Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. But how can we build a better world if we each have our own version of what is right or wrong? So, relativism gives us no common ground, no way to measure our action. Only absolute morality provides the foundation for a just and thriving society, a foundation we are all responsible for creating for. So, this is why morality is absolute. So, that concludes my answer. I hope you listened carefully and found it insightful. Thank you.